We begin to look at the bones of the upper limb with the humerus. First, the word has nothing to do with humor, as you might be misled to think, with the expression of funny bone. The funny bone involves pinching the ulnar nerve at the elbow and has nothing to do with why the humerus is called a humerus. The word derives from Latin and Greek words which refer to the shoulder or upper arm. The Greek word omos refers to the shoulder, as we learned when we talked about the acromion as being the highest point in the shoulder. Acro-omos, acromion. Humerus. So here is an interior view of the humerus. Let's look at the expanded proximal portion of the humerus, where it forms the shoulder joint with the scapula. Here is another view using Dr. Jana's picture from Creative Commons. We can see the enlargements or swellings on the bone, which are called tubercles. These tubercles increase the surface for muscle attachment. The larger tubercle is called the greater tubercle, and the smaller tubercle is called the lesser tubercle. And the groove in between the two tubercles is called the intertubercular groove. The groove accommodates the tendon of one of the heads of the biceps brachii muscle and is also called the bicipital groove. The articular part of the proximal end is a smooth hemispherical surface called the head. The head is demarcated by a constriction which is called the neck. However, because there is another constricted area of note, this neck is called the anatomical neck. The other neck is indicated by the circle and is called the surgical neck because it is the location of many fractures that require surgery. If we look again at the lateral side of the humerus, distally along the shaft or diaphysis, we find on the surface a rough area that is rough because it serves as the attachment for the deltoid muscle. And this roughened, slightly elevated part of the bone is called a tuberosity. So this is the deltoid tuberosity, which is often better felt than seen. So now we come to the distal end of the humerus, which contributes to the elbow joint with the ulna and radius. The smooth articular surface is divided into the trochlea on the medial side and the capitulum on the lateral side. The word capitulum means little head, and it is a smaller hemispherical surface compared to the larger head on the proximal part of the bone. The trochlea forms an articulation with the ulna, one of the bones of the forearm, and when the elbow joint is flexed, there is a depression above the trochlea that accommodates the coronoid process of the ulna. This depression is called the coronoid fossa. There is also a depression above the capitulum that accommodates the disc-like head of the radius, and this depression is called the radial fossa. These round, smooth surfaces are kind of like round, smooth knuckles or condyles, which is what the word condyle originally meant. Above the condyles, there are processes called epicondyles. Epi on top of condyle. The more prominent process on the medial side that can be easily felt is called the medial epicondyle. And on the lateral side, you find the lateral epicondyle. Continuing proximally from the epicondyles, there are ridges which, because they are still above the condyles, are called supracondyles. So on the medial side, we have the medial supracondylar ridge, and on the lateral side, we have the lateral supracondylar ridge. Now, if we look on the posterior side, we can again identify the trochlea, which is a word that means pulley. Here you can see the concave curving surface of the pulley. And here's a picture of a pulley I obtained from the Creative Commons, where you can see the resemblance of the concave surface to the groove of a pulley. Again, note the prominent medial epicondyle. This again is the process you can easily feel, and this is the place where you can pinch your ulnar nerve to experience the funny sensation of the funny bone. Above the trochlea, we find the depression that accommodates the Olecranon process of the ulna when the elbow joint is extended, and it is called the Olecranon fossa. This brings our video to an end. If you would like to take a quiz, there is a link in the description below. And Apollo was on vacation recently to visit a canine friend of his that recently got a driver's license. And here he is driving in Monterey.